Lori Wright, also known as Not Your Average Grandma. I created this podcast as a place to go for midlife inspiration. If you are in a stage where you believe the best is behind you, it is my hope that one of these episodes will ignite a long suppressed or unrealized desire, and you will see the potential within yourself just waiting to be tapped, so you can do amazing things with the time you have left. I want you to stop seeing your age as a limitation and start seeing it as your superpower. You have years of experience and value that the younger you never had, so it's time to lean into that and use it to fuel your future. No more letting age hold you back from the pursuit of a more passion-filled life. The more passionate we are, the better the world will be. So stop settling for average, put your AirPods in, and let this episode inspire you to take the first step in transforming your mind, body, and soul. Welcome to another episode on abundance. And I'm feeling very, very abundant today. I'm very excited because I just kicked off. Yesterday, we opened the Facebook group for my free training, Ignite Your Second Half Soul. And if you have not heard about it and you haven't participated in it before, I did it back in January and I'm doing it again. And it's actually a video series I created. And when I say video series, just think of like if you watch Netflix and it's like a limited series, although it's not, each one isn't an hour long, they're shorter. But it's about the 4 keys and how to ignite your second half soul. Simple as that. But I open a Facebook group and I bring people in and it's a whole experience. I called it interactive training experience because it's just really fun. I love running it and I got such great feedback from when I did it the first time. In fact, it was so sweet. I opened my Facebook this morning and somebody who had been in it in January wrote this long thing and posted it on her Facebook. And just like, because she's doing it again and how much she loved it. And when somebody does that and you don't even ask them to do that, it's just so rewarding. It feels so good because that's my whole intent with this free training, is to get people to have a transformation. And I heard people say it's like the best free training I ever take. People were calling it a course. It's like, you can call it a course if you want. It's not really a course, but it's an experience. It's an experience. And you find in this group like-minded people that are in the same place as you, that you might have thought you were the only one in this place. And then so much good training. And so the video series doesn't release until the 16th, but I open the group early and then I do prompts, question prompts to get people warmed up. It's kind of like, when you go to oh gosh, I don't know, a sporting event, or you go to a show. Have you ever been to a show and the person comes out and they warm the audience up first? So that's what I'm doing, warming the people up. And so we do question prompts to get them thinking, thought provoking, question prompts that are related to what we're going to do in the training in the video series. And then I'm going to do a special workshop, which I've done before, and it's about mindset. It's really great. I teach you my process for uncovering blocks, and I teach it in my school. So this is like high value free training. And then, so we do that. And then we talk about, there's some training involved with that workshop, follow-up training. And then we do the video series. So it's kind of like a real long, I wouldn't say, it's not, it doesn't require a lot of investment and time, but it's a series of weeks. It's about 4 weeks total, and it's a Facebook group, and then it closes at the end of that. So, and it's not like you have to do homework every single day. When we get into the video series, there are assignments, but you win prizes. I'm going to be giving away iPads and Kindles, and lots of other good stuff. In fact, the Simple Abundance book is going to be I'm going to be giving it away as prizes. And there'll be lots of opportunities to win. It's totally random. And so, all you have to do is participate in the training and then you could potentially win a prize. So I'm feeling very abundant because the people who are coming into the training I can just tell because I ask a couple questions when they come into the Facebook group, and I can just tell that they are the perfect people for this training. And I know that they're going to get a great experience. So I'm excited because it's like, you're going to go to a party and you're going to meet people and they're going to be so much fun. And then you're going to it's just, I'm very I'm very much an extrovert. So I love to meet people and connect and learn about their life and their experiences and try to help them make progress and get sparked. It's all about getting sparked, living the best second half possible. And so that segue into today's episode. Oh, I should probably say too, if you want, if that training is intriguing you, and I'll put the link in the show notes, but it's super simple. It's just go to igniteyoursecondhalfsoul.com. Spell it all out. Ignite your second spelled out soul at .com. So you could also go to my website, notyouraveragegrandma.com, because I'm sure that there's a thing there. I'm sure my guy has put something up on my website. I used to do all that myself, but now I have somebody who does it. So, but yeah, so go and check it out and join and be fun and tell your friends. If you enjoy this podcast and you want to really learn some new things, then check it out. All right. So the episode is, do you know how great you really are? So that's why it's a little bit related to what I'm doing in my free training, right? Because you are great. You have greatness within you, and you likely just can't see it, because that's what we do. We are our worst critic. And we look at other people and we think, oh my gosh, they're so amazing. I could never do that. But you can. It just takes a change in your thought process and your thinking. And so I think what happens, and I'm thinking about my life, is we get so immersed in taking care of other people, as moms, as wives, as children. That's our nurturing nature. That's what most women do. And we just lose sight of who we are over time. And for me, when I got to age 47, I was like, WTF, who am I? What makes me happy? What do I want out of life? What if I never find it? What if I spend the rest of my life really not, what if and I don't think I wasted my life up to age 47. I had a lot of accomplishments. But at the end of the day, don't you want to just do everything possible in this life? Experiment, just check things out, no regrets, get to the end of your life without asking the question, what if? Just at the end of your life saying, thank God I did it. Thank God I tried. Thank God for that experience. And that's when I realized those are the things I want. Statements at the end of my life. I don't want questions. I don't want unresolved questions. And so, it was like, I didn't even know what I liked. And if you don't know what you like, maybe you don't know really who you are, right? You got to dig and figure that out, because we have this kind of identity. We walk around with this identity, and my identity was this person who was a vice president in a corporate job. You go to parties and it's like, what do you do? That was who I was. But Lori, the soul of Lori, like, who is she? Wipe away that identity. And that's one thing that I will tell you, leaving my corporate job and starting my own business, that is like who you are on steroids. You have to figure that out. And you won't be successful because people realize when you're not authentic. And so it comes down to being authentically you, because there is only one you, the unique, I heard it phrased in a really good way. Your unique energy, that what comes from you, that the atoms that make up your human body and the personality that resides inside, your innate personality, that is unique. Nothing else exists in the world. You are different than any other person. And so it's about, this episode digs into really the work of finding out how great you really are. And at the end, I'll give you some to-dos, or one to do. It's like an assignment at the end. So stay tuned, and it'll be a fun one. It'll be a fun one. And hopefully, something that you benefit from, because that's what I want. I want you to benefit from this, and I want you to know how great you really are. All right. So I'm going to use my amazing Simple Abundance book, because that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm focusing on a year of embracing abundance and digging deep on it. So I mentioned, if you've listened to my other episodes, I've mentioned this book, and it's by author Sarah Ban Breathnach. And I just got the pronunciation right because somebody sent me a link to her website. I should have looked it up, but she must get it mispronounced a lot, because she puts it right on the first line of her website. But it's spelled Sarah Ban Breathnach, and that's how I've pronounced it when I've mentioned it before. But it's Sarah Ban Breathnach. Okay, so she is amazing, and what she does with this book is she lays it out like a day. Like I've been waking up in the morning, and it's part of my morning routine now, where I read the day excerpt from her book. So I went back. I'm now starting May, because it's the beginning of May, but she has a theme for the various months, different themes. And so I went back, because I've been using my pencil and starring things and highlighting things that I want to go back to, or that I want to share. So I went back to a series of excerpts in March that really resonated with me, and it had to do with the subject of authenticity. And I divided these into categories. So what I'll just tell you what I'm going to do in this episode is I'm going to give you a series of quotes. I've selected 8 quotes, and I'm going to go through the quotes. She quotes people a lot in the book, and they're really powerful quotes. And so I want them to sink in initially. I want you to hear these quotes and sink in. And as I was thinking about it and preparing for this episode, I thought they're really in 3 categories: authenticity, acceptance, and self-care. And they're intertwined. And so I just wanted to share these and have you reflect on them. And I'd love for you to pick a favorite one. Which one resonates most with you as you hear them? And if it resonates with you, it's probably something that you need to take action on. It's your inner voice. When you hear a series, I tell my students this with their goals. Yeah, I have them write down 50 goals or 50 wishes, call them wishes. And then they have to go back through them. And the ones that like make their heart flutter, or the ones that like, their eyes go back to it on the page, that's your inner voice pushing you towards that, even if it's scary. So I just pay attention when you hear them, what comes up for you internally. And so let's do this. Okay. So the first quote is, "Until you make peace with who you are, you'll never be content with what you have." That's by Doris Mortman, American novelist. And I'll repeat it. Until you make peace with who you are, you'll never be content with what you have. And that really speaks and gets to the core of abundant mindset, right? So you'll always be looking for something else. What that implies is you'll always be looking for something else if you're really not in tune with who you are at your core. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is, we are not born all at once, but by bits. The body first and the spirit later. Our mothers are racked with the pains of our physical birth. We ourselves suffer the longer pains of our spiritual growth. And that was by Mary Antin, a Slavic American novelist and immigration activist. And she wrote that in a novel called The Promised Land. So clearly Sarah had done a lot of research for this book, because she She has put together a lot of quotes from interesting people that, sometimes like Doris Mortman, and I hadn't heard of her or Mary Antin, a lot of people. So she's done her work. Yes. Uh, yeah. So to me, this quote is all about, and isn't it, when I heard this, and I don't know about you, but when I read this, I thought, wow, that's really appropriate for where I was at midlife. You know, we're born not at once, but bit by bit. The body first and the spirit later. And I know my spirit, it's a long time coming to get in touch with that and to learn who I was at the inner, that we're what my spirit, my soul, who she really was outside of being a mom, outside of being a wife, outside of being a corporate person, project manager, or vice president, whatever job title I had at the time. Yeah. So that struck me. Okay. Quote 3. So many women just don't know how great they really are. They come to us all vogue outside and vague on the inside. That's by Mary Kay Ash, founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. That was powerful, right? Vogue on the outside. Yeah, I'm looking good, right? Got all my makeup on and my clothes are, top notch, but I'm vague on the inside. I thought that was very powerful. All right. So the next one is, beauty is an internal light, a spiritual radiance that all women have, but most women hide, unconsciously denying its existence. What we do not claim remains invisible. And that's by Mary Ann Williamson, an American spiritual teacher and best-selling author. I think she did the Course in Miracles, in fact. So you might know that. But so for me, this was like, wow. It's who we are at the core. If we don't know that, or we don't accept it, it's going to be hidden. It's going to be hidden, which means our uniqueness that I spoke to will never be revealed. And that's the danger of trying to blend in, right? And so many people, like, they want to be accepted, so they blend in, when in fact they really shouldn't, because the world needs that uniqueness. So find your uniqueness and shine it bright. All right. Okay, so number 5. Where is number 5? You'll probably hear me turning the pages because I'm following it in my book as I read this. Okay, number 5, 5th quote. Seek not outside yourself. Heaven is within. Mary Lou Cook, American actress. A lot of these authors and like this actress, she was early 1900s. So they're older. The quote's been around a long time. So for me, this was powerful because that's what we tend to do, right? We go externally for acceptance. We seek acceptance from others when all we need is to accept ourselves. And isn't it attractive when you know somebody who is really, really in, like, authentic? You can tell when somebody's really authentic, and that is magnetic. And so we seek outside when it's really within. So that was really powerful to me. Okay, so this quote is actually by the author. It was in her excerpt. A lot of these quotes are at the top, and it's kind of like the theme for the excerpt. But this one was within, and she has so many great, like, she's such a great writer. I envy her for her ability to make things so descriptive. Okay, so quote, most of us think of other women as beauties, never ourselves. But every woman was created by spirit to be a genuine beauty. We learn how to reveal to the world our unique radiance only after we acknowledge it ourselves. Today, take as your personal mantra, I am what I am, and what I am is wonderful. And that's by Sarah Ban Breathnach. So repeat after me. I am what I am, and what I am is wonderful. So write that down, and that's your mantra. If not just for today, how about like continuing it? Like make that an affirmation and keep saying it, because I think that is amazing. All right, so that was number 6. So I have two more left. Okay. Or no, 3 more left, because I have 8 total. All right. Any little bit of experimenting in self-nurturance is very frightening for most of us. Julia Cameron, American author and artist. So this speaks to the self-care aspect, right? So this implies that it's scary for us. I remember when I first read this, I was like, frightening. I think it's hard for people to do self-care because they're so focused on other people and they're too busy. So I always looked at it as more of a, oh, I just don't have time for that. But if I, thinking about how she explained it, I was like, maybe it is a scary thing because it's out of the ordinary, right? It's not familiar. It's not familiar. And I think we also at times think it's selfish of us to spend time on ourselves and do these things. But I love what she says is that perhaps we are all Scrooges when it comes to self-nurturing, because if we were kind to ourselves, our creativity might begin to blossom like a plant moving toward the light. Of course, this would mean we'd want to make some changes in our lives. And we all know how we feel about changes, even positive ones. We may be in a rut, but at least our own familiar grooves are comforting in their own insidious fashion. So isn't that true? Our self-nurturing is scary because it involves change. And change is outside our comfort zone, where all the lions and tigers and bears are, right? We want to stay inside our comfort zone because it's just nice and warm and cozy in there. Even though we need and are dying for self-care, and everybody needs it. And what I've learned about self-care, most self-care involves quiet. Self-care like a bath, self-care like a massage, self-care like my favorite activity lately, floating in a big bath of Epsom salts. Well, when you're quiet, creativity enters the picture and you start to have ideas. You start to have more ideas about what's possible outside the box that you're living in. And so, yes, it is so true that self-nurturing, self-care is maybe, when you peel back the layers, scary. So that was really eye-opening for me. All right, number 8 is, if you want to find the answers to the big questions about your soul, you'd best begin with the little answers about your body. So I thought that was good because we think everything is a mental game, but what we see, I mean, you're everything up to this point, it's kind of been a mental game, right? But what we see, we don't see the inside. When we look in a mirror, we see the outside. And do we accept what we see? Do we like what we see? Can we see past the image in the mirror? And so she has an exercise that I love, and this is the real homework assignment for you. And as she says, it's more than just skin deep, but she wants you to take an inventory of what you like about yourself, right? We're always finding things wrong with the way we look. But today, we're going to be abundant by checking in and making a list of what we like about us. Give thanks for what pleases us. So she wants us to set aside an hour to celebrate how marvelous we really are. So pick an hour to do some self-care, whatever that is, whether it's drawing a bath, spending time in the bath. That might be the easiest one for most of us. She talks about lighting a candle, putting maybe some oils, essential oils in, make it smell good. And then when you get out of the bath, apply some body lotion that smells good. And when you're done with that hour of self-care, look in the mirror and find 10 things that you absolutely love about your physical self. Maybe it's your nose, beautiful hands, trim ankles. I know for me, I've always loved my smile. I have a great smile. I always get complimented on it. But that's so funny is when I don't smile, people who know me are like, what's wrong? And I'm like, no, nothing. This is just my serious face. But it's because I smile so much. But a little recommendation tip, she says, is start at the top and work your way down. Consider everything. So like you might find something like, look, your hair, maybe your hair, you're having a bad hair day. But do you like the color of it? Do you like the way you have a special wave to it? Do you like for my hair, it's super curly, but I can make it straight. So I love the fact that I can have different styles, right? So yeah, so really you spend some time, some thought time on this. And then after you're done with the 10 physical things, and keep going. If you find more than 10, do it. Keep writing, but 10 minimum. And then when you're done with your 10 physical ones, then you want to find 10 things about your personality that you're grateful for. So that leaves you with a total of 20 things you love about yourself. And what she recommends, and this is the big one. This is the big one. This isn't just a one-time exercise. If you're feeling not that great about yourself, that you need more self-love, more acceptance, then do this exercise every day until you can. And you will start to believe these things, and you will start to know how really great you are. And if you can't find one thing you love about yourself today, come back tomorrow, be gentle to yourself and loving to yourself, and allow your self-care to increase. And she ends this excerpt with a great quote, which I guess will be number 9. Wasn't on my list, but it's very powerful as I'm looking back through this excerpt. It says, ponder this today. Self-development is a higher duty than self-sacrifice. So it's your duty to take care of yourself, to develop that aspect of you and accept who you are at your core. All right, so one last time, I'm going to go through the quotes. 1, until you make peace with who you are, you'll never be content with what you have. 2, we are not born all at once, but by bits. The body first and the spirit later. Our mothers are racked with pains of our physical birth. We ourselves suffer the longer pains of our spiritual growth. 3, so many women just don't know how great they really are. They come to us all vogue outside and vague on the inside. 4, beauty is an internal light, a spiritual radiance that all women have, but most women hide, unconsciously denying its existence. What we do not claim remains invisible. 5, seek not outside yourself. Heaven is within. Number 6, most of us think of other women as beauties, never ourselves. But every woman was created by spirit to be a genuine beauty. We learn how to reveal to the world our unique radiance only after we acknowledge it ourselves. Today, take as your personal mantra, I am what I am, and what I am is wonderful. 7, any little bit of experimenting in self-nurturance is very frightening for most of us. 8, if you want to find the answers to the big questions about your soul, you'd best begin with the little answers about your body. And 9, self-development is a higher duty than self-sacrifice. All right, so that was so check in with me on social media and let me know if you started applying these things. Let me know if it was easy or hard, what quote resonated with you the most. Love to hear from you. So till next time, take care. Thank you so much for tuning into the Not Your Average Lives podcast. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe on iTunes if you have an Apple device. You can find free resources and learn what else I have going on at the moment that might interest you on my website at notyouraverage.grandma.com. You can also find me on Instagram or Facebook at Not Your Average Grandma. If you liked this episode, it would make my heart so happy if you could leave me a 5-star rating. You can also add a review to let me know what you like about this podcast, which will help spread the word about it to others who need a little midlife inspiration. As always, be you, listen to your inner voice, and focus on reigniting that lost spark so you can start living your own Not Your Average life.